Have you ever wondered what it's like to live under one of the strictest regimes in the world? Welcome to North Korea, a nation notorious for its iron-fisted rule. It's a place where the laws are not just stringent, but often they're extreme. Living in North Korea is an experience that's far removed from what most of us know or can even imagine. In this part of the world, the government's grip is tight, and the rule of law is rigid. North Korea's laws are a reflection of its totalitarian regime, a system that leaves little room for individual freedom or personal expression. This is a society where the state has the ultimate control, and where breaking the law can lead to severe and often unthinkable consequences. North Korea's reputation for its iron-fisted rule is not unfounded. The nation is known to carry out harsh punishments for what may seem like minor offenses in other parts of the world. The severity of these punishments is a testament to the extreme strictness of North Korea's laws. In North Korea, the consequence for breaking the law can range from imprisonment to forced labor, and in extreme cases, even execution. But what does this mean for the people living in North Korea? Imagine living with the constant fear of stepping out of line. Imagine knowing that a simple mistake could cost you your life. This is the harsh reality for millions of North Koreans. Yet it's important to remember that this is not about demonizing a nation or its people. Rather, it's about understanding a different way of life, a different set of laws, and a different system of governance. It's about recognizing the stark differences that exist in our world and understanding the value of the freedoms and rights that we often take for granted. In a world where we value freedom and individual rights, North Korea's laws can seem alien and terrifying. As we delve deeper into the specifics, it's crucial to approach this topic with an open mind, acknowledging the complexity of the issues at hand. So what exactly can you be executed for in North Korea? Let's start with laws related to freedom of expression and information. In North Korea, distributing foreign films or music or even accessing international news sources is considered a grave offense. Imagine a world where listening to your favorite foreign artist or watching an overseas movie could lead to severe punishment. It's hard to wrap our heads around, isn't it? But that's not all. The North Korean regime also heavily monitors and controls all media, making it nearly impossible for citizens to access any information beyond what's state-approved. The regime's stranglehold over information is so tight that even owning a television or radio not tuned to state channels is a punishable offense. Now let's talk about the punishments these laws can bring about. For crimes related to freedom of expression and information, the punishments are severe and terrifying. Executions are not uncommon, and the regime doesn't shy away from publicizing these to serve as a deterrent to others. But death is not the only fear. Many are sentenced to hard labor in prison camps, living in inhumane conditions and subjected to brutal treatment. These laws and their corresponding punishments are part of the regime's broader strategy of maintaining an iron grip over its citizens. By controlling what people see, hear, and say, the regime ensures that dissenting voices are silenced, and a sense of fear is instilled among the population. The extent of these repressive laws goes beyond what most of us can comprehend. It's a stark contrast to the freedoms we enjoy and often take for granted. Executions for accessing foreign media, labor camps for owning a non-state-approved television. It sounds like a dystopian novel, but for the people of North Korea, it's their grim reality. These laws are unfathomable in most parts of the world, but they are the harsh reality of life in North Korea. But it's not just about controlling what citizens see and hear. Some laws are directly related to maintaining the regime's power. In North Korea, laws that are considered crimes against the state are harshly enforced. These are designed to stifle any form of dissent or criticism against the government or its leaders. Let's delve into some of these laws. Firstly, there's treason. In many countries, treason is a serious crime, but in North Korea, the definition is broadly interpreted. Any act that is perceived to be against the interests of the state or its leaders can be labeled as treason. This could range from attempting to overthrow the government to simply failing to show sufficient loyalty or respect to the leaders. Next, we have espionage. North Korea takes a dim view of anyone spying or gathering information for foreign entities. This is seen as a direct threat to the state and is dealt with severely. Even the suspicion of espionage can lead to dire consequences. Lastly, any form of dissent or criticism against the government or its leaders is strictly forbidden. This includes not just open criticism but also private conversations, jokes, or even casual remarks. Any form of disloyalty, no matter how minor, can be seen as a crime against the state. The penalties for these crimes are harsh. They often include long prison sentences, forced labor, and in many cases, public executions. This serves as a chilling reminder to the populace of the consequences of breaking these laws. In this rigid system, even the slightest hint of deviance from the prescribed norms can be life-threatening. And it's not just the person who commits the crime who suffers, their families can also be punished, creating a climate of fear that permeates every aspect of their lives. These laws create an environment of fear and obedience, where even a whisper of dissent can lead to death. In the next scene, we'll delve into the severe social restrictions that further tighten the regime's grip on its citizens. Beyond politics and media, North Korea's laws also intrude into the private lives of its citizens. In this hermit kingdom, the government's iron fist extends far beyond public affairs and into the very personal spaces of individual lives. Imagine a world where even your hairstyle could land you in trouble. In North Korea, there are strict rules about hair. Men are allowed just 10 state-approved haircuts, while women have a slightly wider range of 18. Straying from these approved styles can result in public shaming or even a sentence to a labor camp. The same goes for clothing. Western-style clothing is frowned upon, and jeans are seen as a symbol of American imperialism. Wearing them can land you in hot water. A fashion misstep could lead to public humiliation, forced labor, or even worse, but it doesn't stop at appearances. The regime also controls language. The use of foreign words, especially those from South Korea, can be seen as a sign of disloyalty. This is not taken lightly. A borrowed phrase or even a slip in accent could land you in a labor camp or, in extreme cases, on the execution block. Even the music you listen to is subject to scrutiny. Western pop music is banned, and getting caught listening to it could lead to severe punishment. The regime views it as a threat to the country's cultural purity and a tool of capitalist brainwashing. The North Korean government's control over its people's personal lives is severe and unyielding. What may seem like minor infractions to us, a different hairstyle, a pair of jeans, a foreign song, are viewed by the regime as serious transgressions, treated with the harshest of penalties. These laws, and their strict enforcement, serve as a constant reminder of the regime's presence, reaching into every corner of people's lives, dictating not just what they can do, but who they can be. In North Korea, even your personal appearance can be a matter of life and death. So, let's recap what it's like to live under the watchful eye of the North Korean regime. The iron fist of North Korea clenches tightly around its citizens, casting a long and foreboding shadow over their lives. The oppressive laws and their consequences are severe, often resulting in punishments that are, quite frankly, unthinkable to most of us. In this regime, transgressions can range from what we'd consider minor to major, but the common denominator is the disproportionate severity of the penalties. Crimes against the state are taken incredibly seriously. Anything that could potentially undermine the government's power, even in the most inconspicuous way, is seen as a threat. We've seen examples of this in the form of censorship, restrictions on freedom of speech, and severe penalties for anything perceived as dissent. The state's control is so pervasive that it even extends into the homes of its citizens, controlling what they watch, listen to, and even what they wear. But it doesn't stop there. The regime further imposes severe social restrictions that penetrate every facet of everyday life. It dictates who you can associate with, what jobs you can hold, and even where you're allowed to live. It's a system that tightly controls the flow of information, both within its borders and beyond, closely monitoring its citizens' activities and interactions. These harsh measures serve a singular purpose: to maintain the regime's power and control. They aim to suppress individuality, foster fear, and cement the state's authority. The North Korean government uses these laws not only to control its citizens, but to isolate them from the rest of the world, creating an environment where dissent is simply not an option. In the end, North Korea's laws serve as a chilling reminder of the lengths some governments will go to in order to maintain absolute control. It's a stark contrast to the values of freedom and democracy that many of us hold dear, and a potent reminder of the importance of vigilance in the face of oppressive regimes.